Hello everyone, welcome back. I got a new holster in from Craft Holsters. Basically, it's a holster for large revolvers. I've been playing with this for a couple of days and decided to share it with you guys. Now, initially, I got this holster for my Ruger Red Hawk 44 Magnum. But the nice thing about revolver holsters is that they can fit lots of different revolvers. So today, I am shooting my Colt 1851. Okay, this gun over here was basically is a replica of a gun from the American Civil War, and the thing to know about these guns is that um, today when we think of pistols and revolvers, we think of them in terms of defensive firearms. Okay, well, these were offensive weapons. Okay, cavalry used these to charge into battle. So these were assault revolvers. Okay, one of the great things about these revolvers is a lot of my viewers are in places like Europe, where they can't buy modern firearms. And they are able to purchase these guns. Like I got a lot of people in my channel that have been following my channel because of occasionally I'll post videos where I'm shooting black powder guns, and I talk about their use for self-defense, home defense, that sort of thing. So today we're going to be shooting this gun, and it fits beautifully in this holster from Craft Holsters. Okay, and the way it works is there's a little snap over here that locks it into place. It goes behind the trigger guard, and the great thing is that it's got two extra pouches here where you could put spare cylinders. Now, if you have a revolver, because the 1851 doesn't come apart that easy, but if you have a gun like this like this Remington 1858, well, this gun over here, let's put this on half cock. Okay, this gun is designed. Oh, there you go. This gun is designed so that you can remove the cylinder and you can have spare cylinders. Okay, let's put this back in. Now, if you're going to do that, I don't recommend that you put the caps in the cylinder. Don't put the caps in the gun until you're ready to put them. Until you're ready to put Until you're ready to fire a gun, right? Because if you drop the cylinder with the caps in it, they can get set off if the caps hit the ground. Okay, so you can preload the cylinders with the gunpowder and the ball, and put them in these pouches over here, and then put that in the gun, and then you can put the caps on it once the cylinder is in the gun. Okay, um, this what I found is that because I ordered this specifically for my Ruger Red Hawk, so it was cut to that barrel length, which is the same barrel length as this Colt 1851. The 1851 has a 7.5-inch barrel. The Remington 1858 has an 8-inch barrel, and basically, if you're going to order it for an 1858, make sure you get the holster cut to 8 inches, because what's happening there is, you see how that front sight, it'll stick out the bottom and it'll get stuck in the bottom of the holster. So if you think you might want to put a Remington 1858 in this holster, make sure it's cut to 8.5 inches. I would say 8.5 inches just to be on the safe side. If you're going to be shooting the Colt 1851, then the standard length that they normally ship it with for the Ruger Red Hawk will work fine. Okay, so we got this holster here. It's got the two spare cylinders here. It has a strap over here that can attach to your belt. Now, with the 1851, it's a pretty light gun, so I'm finding that this is between the two cylinders that I have here and the gun here, it's pretty well balanced. However, when I put the Ruger Red Hawk in here, I found that it was a little heavy on this side. So what I did is I took this strap and I attached it to my belt, and it served as a counterweight. Okay. However, if I don't need it, I'm not going to use it. Okay. Right now I don't need to use it. I'd rather be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more nimble. Because I don't need this to try and balance me out. Now there is also a strap on this side, so you can attach this to your belt on both sides, and it kind of functions like suspenders. Okay, so let's talk about our draw stroke. Move this gun out of the way. Because what's going to happen is, if you go to a gun range to shoot your gun, a lot of gun ranges will allow you to draw out of the holster, but typically, you have to be, when you draw, you have to be like this, right? Gun comes out, it goes straight to the target. The problem with the shoulder holster is, as soon as the gun comes out, it's immediately pointing behind me, and there might be somebody behind me. So the draw stroke that we're going to use is, if my target's over there, I'm going to turn my back to the target. Okay, I'm going to remove the strap, lift my arm up, pull the gun out. See, gun stays pointed at the target. Then I'm going to turn to the target like that. Okay, and then when I want to reholster again, gun stays pointed at the target, and I'm going to reholster the gun as such. Okay, so the whole time the gun stays pointed at the target. Now here, private range, I can shoot 360 degrees here, so that's not an issue. But it's important for you guys to know how to safely draw out of a shoulder holster if you're at a gun range with lots of other people. Okay, so let's fire this gun, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna reload it for you guys, so those of you not familiar with cap and ball revolvers can see what's involved. Okay, so my ears on. Now you're gonna notice that there's a lot of black smoke that comes out of this gun. Okay, the fog of war was a real thing, because when you've got like 1,000 people shooting these black power guns at one time, after the first shots are fired, you cannot see very far. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the gun that way, turn my back to the target, come out, keep the gun pointed in the direction of the target, go to full extension. There we go. That plate was moving, man. This has a little bit less power than 9mm. Okay, the chambers on the Remington 1858 are a little bit bigger, so this comes in right at around 350 foot-pounds. If I've even had, with really heavy loads, I've had this get close to 400 foot-pounds. That's on the 1858. With the 1851, with the standard loads, it comes in more like a 38 special. But if I load these cylinders all the way up, I mean, it comes in, it'll get up to 300 foot-pounds, which is like a 9mm in a short barrel, basically. So let's talk about loading this gun, right? So yeah, I had to reset my camera. Okay, so now we're gonna reload this so you guys can see how these cap and ball revolvers are loaded. So first step is we're gonna go to half cop mode, where the cylinder spins freely. I have my flask here. Now there's no smoke or anything coming out of the chambers, because that's important, because you don't want to ignite the flask. Now this does have a cutoff over here, but yeah, generally you want to make sure there's no smoke coming out of this when you do this. So I'm gonna fill this part over here with the powder. I'm gonna pour it in through the front of the cylinder into the chamber. I'm gonna take my ball. I'm gonna put it right there. I'm gonna rotate this, and now I'm gonna use this plunger to seat the ball. Right, you see the ball over there? See how I'm gonna seat it? It's gonna go all the way in. Good. Then I'm gonna do this one by one. Take the next ball, put the ball there, rotate it, line it up with this rod, press it all the way in. Okay, so when this seats it, it also shaves off a ring. Right, you see this ring over here that's in my hands? What that's doing is it's resizing. See that ring right there? Because the ball is a little bit bigger. See if I can get it. The ball is a little bit bigger than the chamber. So when you're basically forcing the ball, the larger ball, into a smaller chamber, which shaves it down, and it gives it a tight seal. Now, You can get these balls in different sizes. This is a 454, but you can get it, let's say, in a 457. The bigger the ball, the harder it's going to be to seat it, which means that it's going to have a tighter fit, okay? And what that means is that because it's a tighter fit, more pressure is going to get a chance to build up before the ball starts moving, okay? So that's a way to get extra power out of this. You get, the more oversized the ball is, the longer it's going to take before enough pressure starts building up, and you can get this up to some pretty respectable loads even after your chamber is completely full. All right, get the next one in there. Same deal. Line up the ball, press this down. There's that ring. That's lead. That's the edge of the lead ball that gets shaved away. I mean, this can be quite fast once you get into rhythm. I was going a little bit slower so I can demonstrate to you guys. Okay, so good. So now all 6 chambers are full. Now normally with these 1851s, if you were going to carry this, you would carry this on an empty chamber. So I would only fill up 4 and I would drop the hammer on an empty one. Now these modern ones do have like a little nipple over there, a little spur to keep it in place, but that's not ideal for carrying. The 1858s, on the other hand, they really had, here, let me show you guys. All right, if you look between, you see, there it is. You see that? So this was designed to be carried with all 6 chambers full, because you can rest the hammer in between on these notches over here. So that's on the Remington 1858. The Colts did not, were really not that advanced in that way. So most people carried the Colts with the hammer down on an empty chamber. So the next thing I'm going to do here, let's go back to the half cock. Before I put the caps in the gun, right? First, make sure I got a nice free spin here, and that's important because sometimes the caps after they get shot can get caught up in the gears, okay, and that can cause jams. So now what I'm doing is I got some lube over here, which is basically oil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some lube and I'm going to lube each of the chambers at the front, right? And the reason why I'm doing this is that's to prevent the chain fire, because what can happen is after you fire the gun, that you can get a chain ignition. One chamber can ignite to the other one, and they can all go off at one time. And basically, you'll have like balls shooting out of the side over here. Okay. So now that I have the lube in there, the next step is to put the caps in the gun. So let me show you the cap. So this is the cap, right? Try to get the focus. I want to get into a position where this thing will focus. There it is. There's your cap. That green thing on the inside, that's the filament. That's basically what creates the spark. And one of the things that I do when I go to load the caps, I check each cap to make sure that the filament is still in there, because sometimes that filament can get knocked loose, right? So what I'll do is I'll check each cap one by one and make sure that filament is in there. These caps are usually sold like 100 at a time. And usually what I'll do is I'll take out like, I don't know, like 12 or something and put it separate, because if I don't, that way I don't drop them all or something. So Okay, there you go. All 6 are loaded. Okay, I'm resting the hammer between the chambers. There is a little spur there to kind of hold it in place, but you know, that's something that's okay for temporary. Like if we're just going to shoot the gun now, that's not something that I wouldn't want to carry the gun around like that. Okay, put this in the holster. Okay. So this holster is ideal for a gun this size. You know, I mean, back in the day when they would hang it on the hip, that would work fine if you're sitting on a horse, right, and your legs are up like this, and the holster's hanging straight down. Okay, that works okay. However, today we don't ride horses so much; we drive in cars. So when you get in the car, you know, basically it's going to go down into the car seat, and the long holsters at the belt aren't going to work. But this will work. You know, this is something that you can carry over here. You can sit down in the car, and that's going to work. So, like I said earlier, these are assault revolvers. Okay, these were designed to charge into battle with. Okay, so now usually you're steering the horse with this hand, so you're shooting the gun one-handed. Now these are single action guns. You gotta pull the hammer back before you shoot. So here's the thing: when you pull this out of the holster, right? Okay, so let's say it's over here. You're bouncing on the horse, right? Right. You're driving the horse here. You reach over here. You pull this out. When you pull this out, you pretty much have to get your finger in the guard, because remember, it's a single action only. So you could squeeze that trigger all you want. It's not going to do anything until you cock the hammer back. So you would put your finger in the guard, and they usually made the guards pretty small. And remember, guys on the horse used to wear gloves too. So they wanted that to be as small as possible to lock the gun in place so they wouldn't drop it while they were bouncing around on the horse, okay? So while they're on the horse, they would point the gun up, right? And then they would cock it, okay? And again, the reason why they're doing this is so they can control the gun. And also, I'm going to point the gun up to cock it so that the empty caps fall back out and not get caught up in the gears of the gun. So we're going to shoot this now one-handed. We're pretending to ride the horse. Actually, let me go get a chair. Hold on, let me decock this. Let's do it. Let's do this for real. Let me get a chair. We're going to pretend I'm riding a horse. Hold on. All right, here we go. Hold on. Put this here. I'm going to point the gun down. I'm going to put the camera down a little bit so you guys can see me. All right, so here I am. All right, I'm riding my horse. I'm going to pull this out. All right, get my arm up. Make sure I don't point it into the thing. All right, driving my horse here. Pointing the gun up. I'm going to cock it. Okay? Aim. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to point the gun up. Cock it again. Okay. All right, so let me explain to you guys what I'm doing. By point, see the smoke? By cocking the gun up, right? Watch how the cap is going to fall out. See how that cap gets got spit out? If you don't point the gun up while you do this, the caps, there you go. You see that cap right there? That's trying to get caught up in my, you know, because right now if that hammer drops and it hits that cap, the gun's not going to work. Okay, so obviously it's very hard to see that while you're on the horse. And for this reason, these guns would jam up. The caps would jam up the guns. All right, so let's see over there. Let's see if we can hit that. Miss. That hit. Okay. That's a hit. Last one. All right, and now let's see. The gun's empty. Okay, so you can see that smoke over here just from the 6 shots I fired. Imagine you got 100 guys shooting this thing. You're not going to be able to see much, right? So after everybody fires a volley of these things, you know, all you're going to see is smoke. Okay, so the fog of war is a real thing in the black powder age. When you fire these guns, they put out a lot of smoke. Great gun, great holster, man. These two things work really good together. I'm really liking it. Glad I got it. We're also going to shoot this gun with some other revolvers as well. But I was really excited that about getting, you know, having a holster specifically to fit this, you know, this cap and ball revolver. Look, I hope you guys enjoyed that. A lot of, you know, some of you guys, like I said, that are in Europe, these are the only guys. These are the only revolvers that you can get, the only guns that you can get. So this video is going to be useful for you guys. For a lot of you other guys in the U.S. that probably, some of you watching this video have probably never seen this before, are not aware of that these revolvers existed with the loading levers. You know, that you would load them. You know, you would load the, you know, put the gunpowder in, load the ball, press it down, and then put the caps in the back. The thing to understand is when you're watching a lot of the Western movies, right? They usually in the Western movies they're showing you the peacemakers. I think they were like 1871 peacemakers. I think that were cartridge guns. Okay, most of the guys that went out west were Civil War veterans. Okay, these are the guns that they had during the American Civil War. These are the guns that went out west. Okay, so that's the reason why you would see, you know, in the movies you see them having a gun on each side, right? And it's, you know, when they have a gun on each side and one here and one there, it's not so that they could shoot two guns at one time. It's because they had these type of guns that, you know, where loading them was a whole process, and the fastest reload for a revolver is another revolver. Okay. So a little bit of history for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. Make sure you guys are following me on Odyssey and on Rumble, which are uncensored platforms. On Odyssey, I'm Pocono Tactical. On Rumble, I'm Pocono Guns. And on YouTube, my channels are Pocono Shooting, Absolute Gun Rights, and then I got the original Tafa channel, which goes back to 2006. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon. Also, look in the links below. I'm gonna post a link to this holster and where I got it, in case you guys are interested and you want to get it yourselves.